Hi, guys. Welcome back to our Friday Healing Your Way podcast brought to you by Michael and Mike. And of course, if you guys enjoy it here, you can always leave a follow on YouTube, Rumble, uh, Facebook, and
TikTok,
Instagram,
Instagram.
TikTok. Yep. And today's podcast, we're going to be talking about pain, and this is a fun one and relatable one to be talking about because who doesn't have pain in their bodies, And this specific topic is also on athletes, or not athletes, just the general population that is pretty healthy and active overall, yet they still experience pain. Um, so this can be like knee, back, shoulder pains, and we're just going to break down what's happening beneath the surface and why your body has been giving you signals long before these injuries even show up. So if you're doing everything right, then why are you, even getting injured? And today we're just going to break down the myth that pain is random. Michael, do you have anything to add?
No, everything was great, and we'll be just talking about what is pain, why do we have pain, why are we getting these signals before it goes into much deeper problem, and yeah, we'll talk about like how can we overcome it.
Yeah. So one of the first things I have is uh, tissue capacity versus load. So just quick definition, load is in your workout. That's the workout's intensity, speed, volume, and volume is like a combination of like total reps by frequency and sets. And your capacity is how much stress your tendons, ligaments, muscles, and joint can handle at a time, at the current time. And that capacity is usually influenced as well by your sleep, nutrition, age, uh,
And your
injury
daily
history,
lifestyle, yeah.
yeah, and also your previous training history.
Yeah, like also like what the term for it is, I think anatomical dysfunction.
Mhm.
So that means like from the moment you were born till like this exact moment, whatever happened in your past, like let's say you played football, you get tackled, you get sacked, whatever, you play combat. I mean, you do combat sports, like you get hit in the head, maybe in the liver, abdomen, like this builds up into you, into your anatomical system, and like basically over time you have this tissue damage. So that means like you cannot change that damage that's already done. Like some of the damages that already happened are like already done, but you can improve it. Like you can, like you might not even, let's say those bruises you had when you were getting tackled and all that, like you can't ever change it, you can't change anything about it, but those bruises might have helped you to build your capacity though. So that means you, like in the future you might be able to be more durable to some things that other people might not be, because your body is already adapted to it. That's
Mhm.
the that's like a good side of it.
I absolutely agree. And that adaptation part, for some active people, that adaptation, um, although it's like a anatomical thing that you're talking about, um, what I've happened to run into is people who usually mess up the part where your muscles, how your muscles adapt
Yeah.
versus again how your tendons, ligaments, and all that how they adapt. And there's like a clear speed for the two because muscles usually adapt way faster, and that's usually like uh, there's a neural aspect to it as well. It can take like days to weeks, and muscle hypertrophy can be just weeks, and tendons, ligaments, all that. The remodeling aspect, it can take like months. So
Yeah.
again, just a big duration difference. And what this usually means for some of the people out there in the gym is that you can squat. your squat can go up very well and your confidence does as well, but that doesn't mean that your tendon has caught up yet. So I do have a video example for that if you guys can pull it up.
Yep.
Now, a lot of you might recognize this.
All right. Yeah, buddy! All right.
A lot of energy in that room. And for you guys who don't know, this is Ronnie Coleman, who's an 8-time Olympian, and his career basically went on a downfall after he suffered severe herniated disc in the late 1990s, probably. And this is from squatting around 6 to 800 pounds. And it wasn't shown in that video, of course.
Can you start again the Ronnie Coleman background,
sorry.
because I think the music.
Yeah, I think the video was too loud.
covered, yeah.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that was Ronnie Coleman, who's an 8-time Mr. Olympian in the bodybuilding scene, and he basically his career went on a downfall after he suffered a severe herniated disc around I think it was like 1990s, and this was from squatting like 6 to 800 pounds, and it wasn't caught in that video, the injury, but when it happened, he described it as, and the people around him described it as like a pop, and immediately after that, it was shooting pain down his whole leg. But even despite the pain, he would just continue training heavy, and that just compounded over time. And of course, you have long-term consequences from this. So he ended up getting over 13 surgeries. He's left with chronic pain and significant limitations to his mobility.
Yeah.
And if you guys see clips of him now, I know a lot of you guys can probably see him on TikTok or YouTube, but if you see him nowadays, he's still working out, but he's on like crutches and just like a wheelchair. So that was a major example, especially in the gym community scene, of one of the very best. Just again, it's his. If you look at him, the amount of size he has in the mass, you would expect him to easily do 6 to 800, but when again, it's his muscles are able to do that weight, but when it comes down to his tendons and his spine, it just wasn't able to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, just by looking at him, like you can easily say he's in superhuman shape in there, and
yeah,
like you can say like, yeah, this guy is definitely able to do some unhuman shit, you know. And but thing is, here you like this is like a crazy example because most of people don't do this, and like I would say like are not setting their goals to get to this point. But still, like here he's against like physics. Basically, you can see just bars sitting at the
rack.
Rack. Like you could see thing just bending. The weight was just bending the bar, and to be able to put that on your spine and just squat it. And imagine this is not his first time. Like this might be like his first time doing 800, but he probably was doing 700, 750, and all that the weeks before. And this, everything else ends up like you have to get to that point. I would say like you need crazy amount of time to overload progress that.
Mhm.
because you cannot just make that big jump and expect for your body to handle all that. So I would say like your goal should not be to be squatting 800. I mean, unless you want to go through whatever he went through. But if you want to, I'm saying if you want to live healthy life, like you have to take all these things uh, under account. Like you're doing all this just for your longevity. So
Yep.
what's the point of you damaging yourself right at this moment if you can't last for like 3 months, you know? So if your goal is to live a healthy lifestyle, I would definitely not recommend this, but I would recommend like progressive overload. You can always do progressive overload because our body is made to do that. Like you have to explain this process. Now, I would just go straight up into capacity, Michael, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you're
Loading
good.
capacity. So, mm, like imagine we have like a straight line here, and this is our average capacity of what person's body can do, right? So you start your day, and this is based on research. I watched a video, and one of the PT was talking, and he's also doing this personal training. And he says we have this capacity, right? Average capacity. But imagine if our baseline is right here, we already start our day by around here. Because as I mentioned before, functional anatomy, stress, sleep, your diet, like all the like outside factors that's factors on your body that basically builds your load up. Like your body is already loaded. So the best way to like kind of use this capacity to our best way would be to get better sleep, obviously. So less stress, cortisol levels. That's what clavicular right now. I mean, if you're younger generation, you probably know and heard of him, clavicular. He brings out the science that we have to have low cortisol and like not get stressed out, which is right because stress level puts a lot of load on our bodies. So less stress, better diet, better sleep. If you have all that, your capacity or your load goes down because those boxes get smaller. Like you're not loaded up when you wake up. So things like functional anatomy, not functional anatomy, okay, anatomical like history that we have, all the damages damages that I mentioned, like if you play football, you get tackled, whatever play sports, you get hit in the head. Like those stuff you cannot change. So it's always there. But thing that we can change is to bring this capacity up. Like we can over time, we can with the usage of progressive overload, we can bring this capacity up. So progressive overload, cardiovascular training, like you have to go through all this just so your body can recover, adapt, and get better. So that's what progressive overload is. Like I would say, like to make a progress, like you have to always train till failure. This will be one of the best advices from like personal trainer perspective. Like you have to push yourself. Every workout should be that you are pushing yourself to the limits because that is the action that sends the signal from muscle to your brain. Okay, we have this overload, so we have to adapt this muscle tissue. So next time we do this, we are able to handle it. So after doing that, you cannot just say, "Yeah, I trained max failure. Next day I'm gonna go again max." You have to make sure before you go max limits again, you recover. So by recover, you have to get sleep, eat good, and make sure you're not doing some crazy stuff. You know.
Yeah, and of course, with this progressive overloading, it's to increase your capacity, but you guys want to make sure you don't accidentally go over it. So just
Yeah,
looking out for like the small details, like maybe your joints are aching, soreness. Soreness is good, but also if it doesn't feel right,
yeah.
and for some people, maybe you need more caffeine, like as you go on. So that caffeine tolerance is a big factor as well when trying to increase your capacity.
Like also like just listening to your body, like learning the ability to listen to your body and just go. Let's say you feel great one day, and next day or maybe 2 days after, like your knee starts to hurt a little bit. You have to start questioning. Oh my, why do I feel soreness? Like where is it coming from? What did you do differently that you have been doing for these past days, but today it feels different, you know? Once you're able to go back and see like what you did wrong, will actually like help you to fix your body. Like for me, for example, like I pay attention every time I get this soreness. Most of the time it's just my knees. Like it might happen most of the time it happens when like stop going to the gym for a couple days, or I take a break just because I have to study for finals. And that's what I noticed. So I'm moving less. The moment I start moving less, I feel the, I don't know, kind of heaviness in my joints, you know? So also like recovery is not just staying still. You have to give these tendons, joints, muscles some kind of action so they keep working. It doesn't have to be heavy, but even though little action will cause them to work and rehab. So you have to make sure like you stay active, not just laying down on a bed. Depends on what type of injury it is, obviously, you know.
Yeah, and I would just add on that there's also like the fight between it's low chronic load versus you have your acute spikes. And what this basically means is like somebody who claims, let's say they're active, you could just be hitting the gym for that hour or two throughout the whole day, but it doesn't really work out if you're really like you're sitting down all day or you're sedentary all day, and that can be like sitting around for 8 to 10 hours watching TV, eating Doritos, right? And of course it's bad, but in moderation it's fine. But again, if you're not getting that blood flow, that like the joints moving, you're gonna find problems as you move on, and it takes a little bit more effort to build up back to your your status before that sedentary part. But like again, you said for your finals or if you just take any break from the gym, and um yeah, you just need to make sure you try to keep things consistent. You can even add like little things like a daily walk to your days or
Mhm.
light stretching. Um, later, I'm gonna go into some uh, isometric and eccentric works, but there's a lot of things that you can add. The main point is that just movement frequency is what matters a lot, and gradual exposure if needed, if you want to build that resistance. And like you guys know, a lot of people also know that marathon runners, they usually don't take uh, just a week to run a marathon. It takes like weeks to months to build up that endurance and stamina. So you'd only injure yourself jumping straight. Let's say on the first day of practice, you do 8 miles and you've not run at all right before that. So it's important to build your aerobic base. Uh-oh. Um, yeah, I think he's gonna join back. And you just gain that recovery over time. Uh, and it just relates again back to how your tendons and how they hate it when you increase volume, frequency, or intensity in such a short amount of time. And to prevent that, again, adding daily light movement. You can build your volume before your intensity. And what's mostly important is building that baseline capacity with strength training, again, controlled eccentrics and isometrics. And also that spike in volume, again, is influenced by, like Mike said, sleep stress, underfueling, and your cortisol. So there's no such thing as like a perfect form, but there's only a form that your body can tolerate. Okay. I'm just gonna go into some of the isometric and eccentric stuff. So could you pull up the slides, the second? Yeah. Okay. So here, a lot of people, they usually prioritize their prime movers. So this can, welcome back, bro.
Yeah, technical difficulties. I don't know why my PC just shut off.
Yeah, you're good. I'm just gonna go into like your stability based
Yeah.
aspect. So a lot of people, they tend to primarily focus on your prime movers. So what you think when you're working out, like the major muscle groups such as your glutes, hamstrings, quads, pec, lats, arms, and they usually neglect their stabilizers. So this could be stuff like your uh, adductors, tibialis, core, rotator cuffs, even your serratus anterior. That's like the shark fin muscle on the sides of your core. And again, your body usually will find stability somewhere else if that elsewhere is not not where you're focusing it on. So it'll shift it from your muscles to your joints or your spine, and that's when pain usually shows up. And this is also prime reason why during your exercises your knees might cave in, you might like flare your shoulders, or your lower back aches. And this can be programmed in your workouts. So right here, I have a banded squat hold, and this workout is pretty easy to set up because all you need is a band, and you would just get in you would set up the band behind the bar, and then you have the pulling force right behind your knees, and then you just go down into your squat position, like in the picture, and you can go 60 to 90 degrees, depending on how flexible you are. And again, over time, you can also increase that through what's the word? Progressive overload.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would
this
say
is
like also would you say easier form of this exercise will be wall sits?
yep. Yeah. Wall sit is another one. So the
Because I
what
like doing wall sits.
Yeah, so that's a good regression, especially for people who might have like knee pain. You can start off with that. This exercise here just helps stabilize your knees, and work your quads without really irritating your knee joints. So
Hmm.
that's why I included that one.
Well, we have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
What about the type of muscles we have? Some of us have the long muscles that are good for long distance runners, and others have short, fat muscles like sprinters. How do we work with this? So, I mean, some people based on this, like some people say like that person is born for endurance, let's say, or some people is that person is born for power, just based on their like muscle type. And that is all just because like if you have, let's say, longer tendon, bigger muscle, or bigger or longer muscle belly, that's all dependent on that and like your anatomy, how person is built. But like to start like asking yourself like what was I built for, instead like you can can start by like, how does my body respond to this specific training, and how can I develop, let's say, balance? Because like if someone like naturally, let's say, feels explosive, I feel like they might thrive towards like heavier loads and lower reps, maybe even
Mhm.
longer rests between their reps, or sets. And if someone feels like they're more endurance oriented, like they may do higher volume and shorter rests, I don't know. But the main point is like both of these individuals should train and focus on both qualities, because like power athletes still need endurance, and endurance athletes still need strength, you know? So
Yeah, I
that would
would.
be my point. So just test it out. That's the thing with gym and like gym community. You don't have to know exactly what your body type is and how you gotta build the muscle the moment you step into that gym. Like first time you ever going to gym. You just have to know, like if you know basic anatomy, I would say just know what's the function of your muscles. And if you don't know that, you can just watch us, watch other creators, watch YouTube videos. If you're at school, take anatomy class or just listening in class. If you know your muscle functions, like you can basically just base your whole workout just on that. Just picking up the same movements and just but you have to have like multiple variations of each, like muscle workout. Because like imagine athletes, take athletes for example, right? They do same workouts over and over again, and they get injured somehow, because like once you spam these exercises over and over and over again, like that just puts more pressure on like that specific tissue. Like for example, pack major, right? Big muscle. You can do like, I don't know, bro, like hella exercises for pack major in different variations.
Mhm.
And like you have to just try everything out, and whatever works best for you, you just have to stick with it. Currently, that's like what I'm doing and what I'm experimenting with, because like you have to base everything, like workout, walking, your diet, everything on how your body responds. Even your blood type matters on what type of food is best for you. So all those type of stuff, you have to just take that small step, and you will learn over the course of this. Then just experiment with it. Currently what I'm doing, like the splits we were talking about, like
Mhm.
as I said, I have Arnold push pull legs. But my split, I already talked about this, like it's not regular split, because I have, let's say, for Arnold days, not Arnold days, actually for push pull leg days, like I do like free weights, right? I do free
Yeah.
weights. And when it comes to Arnold part, like I try to tweak it out. Like I try to do cable exercises, let's say, because that hits just different. Even simple, let's say, lat pull down, like lat pull down and pull up will definitely activate different tissues, because it's like two different things, but they
Mhm.
hit the same muscle, just different. Like you will never know what specific tissue. But if you just repeat same exercise, there's a big chance that you will overstress that muscle tissue, and that's when the irritation starts, and that's when you start feeling pain. So I would say have multiple variations of each for each muscles. That would be my advice, and just experience with it. you know
Yeah, I was originally gonna say you can stick to what your kinda your frame or body type is and what it's best used for, but again, that
Mm,
depends on your goal. But also, yeah, you can work out and through trial and error, just figure out what works for you because it's not a one size fits all for
Yeah.
everybody. So you just figure out what works for you. Maybe you see better gains doing this variation compared to another one. But I would say it's also very important that just because one thing does not feel good doesn't mean you neglect it. So
Yeah.
through neglection, injuries can happen. So again, stick with your strong points, but through that, be able to recognize your weak points as well is what I would say. So even through what I'm showing you guys, it's important to program like again what you're what you're weak in, and a lot of people don't focus on that isometric and tempo
Yeah.
work. So again, even for this squat hold, it sounds annoying, but you want to hold it for 30 to 45 seconds, as annoying as it is. But over time, your knee joints and the health of your knees
Yeah.
is just gonna get better.
But if you're at a point of your life where
Mhm.
like this, for some people, take for example, like for some people, this specific moment might seem like impossible. Take
Yeah,
some older person.
yeah,
So there, from personal trainer perspective, there are ways to approach this where after that's all it is. You just require time. If you're patient with it, you will reach the end of it. So if this seems like unimaginable for you, you just need time. There are like specific um programs that will help you to get to this point.
mhm.
You don't have to start from here.
Yeah. You can start from a way easier variation if you need
Start
to.
from squat holdings, and you will just progressively overload that and
Yeah.
become better. Like you make progress slowly.
Uh, and we can go to the next slide. So this one is last one was a isolation. Now this one is a step down eccentric,
I like
and
doing this.
yeah. So uh, it's important to include slow eccentrics. That's usually 3 to 5 seconds, and isometrics are again they can last like 15 to even 60 seconds. So this step down eccentric, you have a 4 to 8 inch box. You guys can probably find that anywhere, and you have one leg on the box, one leg that's not on the box, and then you slowly step down and lightly tap the floor and stand back up. But what's
Yeah.
important is during that lowering phase, you take 4 to 5 seconds to lower
Yeah.
and bring your foot down. And this is huge, especially for like runners and lifters, when you're building controls for your knees under load. And uh, yeah,
And
that's
this like doing this type of isometric movements, like this is slow tempo movements, right? The whatever
yep.
list we have here. So slower repetitions, like they improve the tendon adaptation.
Hmm.
Also helps with motor control and joint stability. Like
Yeah.
the slower you go, like more stable your body becomes over time, and like time under the tension,
Hmm.
uh, it's like reduces the peak stress. The more adapted you get to it, and the more you do it, I guess more you do it, the more adapted you get to it. So less stress you have. That means you're adapting your joint to have more stability. See
Yeah.
everything.
And also with this is great because it's like a multi-joint exercise. You can see he's moving his hips and knees at the
And
same time.
ankles. And
Yeah, and
ankles.
ankles too. Yep. So that requires neural connections, and you can slowly athletes and even the general population, you can start slowly incorporating these type of program things in your programs, and you can even like it's like you're unlocking stuff in your body, and you're moving towards that mastery of your body in a way. But again, just great for your hips, ankles, and knees. Uh, three movements in one. So that's bang for your buck too.
You can you also there's a variation of this move. Like you can, let's say, put the one foot that goes down, you can put it
Mhm.
ahead of you or even
Yep.
like behind you. I do all three variations, and I think this is one of the exercises, not exercise, isometric trainings that help me do pistol squat, bro.
Oh, you can do it?
Yeah.
My I used to be able to, but right now probably my knees, it'll just crack immediately. But yeah, for sure. And yeah, with the different variations, you can add stuff to this. I'm sure too. You can
Yeah, you can even
probably
bring
hang like
your right leg behind and go left and do all
yeah.
that.
Oh, that's more of them.
Dragon warrior squat or
Yeah,
whatever.
like calisthenics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna say for sure you can add stuff to this. Let's say this is too easy. I'm sure you can just hang a kettlebell from your foot and maybe,
Mm.
or you can raise the box height. That's how you can.
I mean, yeah, it might seem easy, but once you start doing it in different variations,
Yeah.
it gets hard pretty easy.
Yeah.
Just using your body weight. Like you don't have to
Mhm.
add anything.
And then we can go to the next slide. So I'm just gonna move on to some upper body. And right here, this is very simple, but it's a good isometric, and it's a dead hang where you literally just start off hanging on a bar, no pull up required, and you just hang there for whatever duration that you're able to muster up, and you can build up to 60 seconds or even more. And again, this just helps with your grip strength and your shoulder joint mobility. Actually, not mobility because you're in a hold, but your
Yeah.
capacity. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it helps to decompress your vertebra
Yep. I
and all
tried
the
doing this to get taller.
because all the pressure that's on intervertebral disc, it just goes off.
Yeah.
So this is great exercise.
Yep. And also good beginner thing to do if you guys can't do a pull up either.
Yep,
Yeah.
it will train your all the lats and bicep muscles.
Yep.
Great, great exercise.
Then we can go to the next one. And here, so right now I'm in the middle of my internship for I'm working with a bunch of different sports teams, and the coaches, a lot of them love to incorporate these Copenhagen planks. Uh, and these planks are you're doing like a side plank variation where the top of your leg is elevated, as you can see in the picture, while the other one is left hanging underneath. And this forces your core and also your adductors, which is the muscles on the inside of your leg, inside of your thigh, to stabilize you
Yeah,
and your pelvis, basically. So you're able to gain the groin strength and also hip stability at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the hip stabilities are one of the most important parts of like our lives because
yeah.
I believe the hips is like the source of our movement. Like without hips,
Mhm.
like I don't think there is movement in our body. And like
Yeah.
yeah, it is important to also stretching also is, I believe, important part of life that you should take under your account because stretching also can help to build that capacity, right?
Yep.
Because like when you for example, the best way to have free movement at your joints, like hip joint, take the hip joint for example, is just to stretch, and most athletes are able to achieve this just by stretching. So adding like 10-15 minute stretch before bed or even after you wake up is like great addition to your daily routine.
And another thing my uh, teacher even mentioned was for the older adults out there, one of the greatest uh, or one of the most lethal injuries is literally hip fracture.
Mm,
So you have your grandma who just is taking a shower and then slips, breaks her hip. That's one of the most like a lot of people would say
mm.
one of the first things brought up is, oh, when would the funeral be? Because it's hard to come back from that. So again, with just better hip stability, you're able to, again, it's all about coordination and stability. If
Yeah,
you have those, as a older adult, it's way easier to prevent
Yeah.
these small incidents from becoming a catastrophic thing.
Also, you like build balance over time, so like it
Yeah,
will be harder, basically harder for you to just fall.
yeah.
Like for example, once I started this stretching balance exercises, because as I mentioned, like I tried different exercises for my Arnold like day. I tried to do like stretching most muscles that I cannot hit when I'm doing like free weights, and like I'm trying to do balance exercises, all those isometric exercises for my knee joints and stuff like that.
Mhm,
And yeah, I seen a lot of improvement with my balance, just also walking, the pain pain management, because like I had a few moments where actually like I was supposed to fall, like crazy fall. I mean, I was going down this like example, I was going down the steps at Search, and they got those rubber steps. It
mhm.
was doing like snow period, and like I slept on edge of it, and like I believe just because I was doing this balance training, I was able to like catch my balance because I landed on
Yeah,
one foot and like I was able to balance myself out. I mean, also I'm doing this exercise because I snowboard, and like
mhm.
you need balance for snowboard, and I think that
Yeah,
just implements it to my daily lifestyle. So you just have to find something, just by finding something that interests you might bring those benefits in your life, where I'm getting to,
yeah.
because snowboard is my like hobby. I'm interested into it. I'm invested to it, and to get better snowboarder, I have to make sure my body is, top notch. Top.
Mhm.
I got best balance, best stability, and best recovery for me to enjoy it that time.
And yeah, for sure. When I was snowboarding, I found it very difficult, and afterwards, my hips were
Mm,
very sore. I ended up getting acupuncture done around those areas, and it helped a lot. But again, even though it was my first time snowboarding, it would have been way, 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 way easier if I again did these isometric movements just to prepare myself before
yeah.
snowboarding. And even recently, or just yesterday, I went to a salsa class and found out that my hips are tight. So again, this
Mm,
branches out into so many things that people can do in your day life, your hobbies, whatever you can think of. Again, for older folks, getting up from chairs, carrying groceries, or even picking up your grandkids, very important. And osteoporosis, I think,
yep.
is yeah, again, very important. Uh,
You want next slide, bro?
I'm trying to think if I want it yet. Yeah, we go to the next slide. All right. So,
So these will be like joint stabilizer movements, right?
mhm. Um, and again, this is where I mentioned earlier, uh, if your body can't find that stability somewhere, it'll find it elsewhere, whether it be your spine or your joints.
Mm.
So,
So it's better to like put that output like all over the body instead of like one point, right?
yep. And here, I have again extra things that can be programmed into your workouts. So these are separate from the isometrics and eccentrics.
Mm.
But top left corner, you can see that's a bird dog, and this is gonna help you with um,
Hip stability and shoulder, I guess.
yeah, also rotational core stability
Mm.
and just cross body coordination because when you're raising one
Yeah.
arm, you want to raise the opposite leg and then vice versa.
Hmm.
Uh, Below that, I have prone. So you see his arms are going out 45
Hmm.
degrees. That would be considered a Y because I'm just going to include this is in my internship as well. And what's programmed a lot for the athletes is ITY raises at the prone position. So I is you're straight out here, Y 45 degrees. NT is all the way out at 90 degrees.
Mm.
And this is great for, again, that core,
Glenohumeral joint
yeah,
stability.
yeah, your shoulders and just your
Mm.
spine stability. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have farmer's walk, I believe.
Yeah. Farmer's carry.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the times the coach would want athletes doing usually one side at a time, because if you have, let's say, like a 50-pound dumbbell on one side, you're gonna be shifted all the way over here.
Mhm.
So they want to emphasize core
Yeah.
engagement to just keep yourself straight up. So this is great for your core.
One of the I got one advanced or do you want to explain the last corner and I will say whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. But for the farmer's carry, also your shoulders and hip stability and
Yeah, mostly glenohumeral joint stability because it's like pulling down all the ligaments and you have
yeah.
to make sure it's right. And
Mhm.
once you engage this, like you basically training your capacity. So like that simple event, let's say you have to carry some groceries and that just doesn't dislocate your arm, you know, like you're
Yeah.
building up that capacity for your glenohumeral joint.
And above the farmer's carry is the last one I have, and that's called a Pallof press, where you have your cable set usually right in front of you, around chest height, anchored to the cable machine, and you're stepping away from it. All the force is going one way, and you're trying to resist that, basically. And this helps, again, shoulders.
Again, yeah, glenohumeral joint stability. And
Yeah,
I think it also helps with core too, like core engagement.
yeah, because you can also go with the um,
Vertebral
the rotation.
rotation.
Yeah, and
Mm.
then again, you can go against it as well. So these are just some stabilizing movements. There's a lot more if you guys want to just look it up, but I just have a couple right here that I found very useful and seen a lot in athlete programming. And again, it's not very hard either to program inside general population when you're training. So I just thought, why not include these four right here?
Yeah, the one I do is
Oh yeah, you
like
had variation.
I take kettlebell
Mhm.
and like you stand on one leg and like you like put kettlebell on facing up and you have to balance it up here. So you just have to stand on one foot and balance
Yeah,
kettlebell up top. And I
and
think
you just do like a hold.
yeah, you just hold like you just stand like this. You just hold the kettlebell up top.
Okay.
I think that's great balance exercise
Yeah.
because I've seen a lot of pro athletes do it, and a lot of PTs and those trainers who train pro athletes are preaching to add that to your routine because it's one of the best, you know, isometric
Mhm.
holds.
And then you can switch sides. So this helps again too with uh wait, what is it called when I forget one side is stronger than the other?
Like oh my god, imbalance. I mean, you can
Imbalance, yeah.
imbalance, yeah.
Yeah, that helps. Because you guys can even find patterns in your movements throughout your everyday.
Yeah.
So usually when one area is weaker, another one will take over. And usually that neglected muscle a lot of times, uh it just, other muscles or joints, spine takes over. So like your glutes,
Yeah,
if it can lead to overworking your lower back. Ankle could is another one that can lead to your knees overloading or
yeah, knee
damage.
pain is not just knee pain. Knee pain can be like cause anything from like lower limb, you know.
Yeah.
Thighs can cause knee pain, hamstrings can cause knee pain, down tibia like tibial muscles can
Yep.
cause knee pain. And like knowing your body, you just knowing your body and listening to your body, like even trying to listen to your body will definitely help you to progress into that. And like once you start understanding your body, it will be much easier for you to hit those recovery spots, and like you will know better like what's best for you.
Yep.
Like for example, does take this summer, like I had no idea like what my workout was supposed to look like, but like couple months it took me a couple months just to build up knowledge and start implementing into my workouts and to my daily lifestyle. Yeah, it just I don't know, it just takes time. You just have to stick with it, you know. It's just you gotta be patient.
And from my experience, what I'm experiencing right now is I have like crazy lower back pain,
Mm,
and this just came up recently. I mean, it's been happening for over a year, but it's like low, usually low pain, and I can tolerate it. But recently, I was doing a kind of um, a hip exercise just to increase my range of motion and just freeing up my
mm,
hips, and it just ended up tweaking that part of my
mm,
lower back even more. So now it does like hurt to walk or even like bend over slightly. So
mm.
this past week, I've just been focusing on like rehab and all these stabilizers and isometrics and all that. So it's best to do it first so it doesn't happen rather than like an injury happening
Yeah.
and then you then focusing on it when it's a little too late. But again, you can always bounce back from it. So
Like
I
what's the stabilizer you tried? Have you tried like low back extensions?
uh that one I can't do yet because it just hurts to
It
even
hurts.
yeah. F One of my favorite ones I've been doing for the low back right now is just the bird dog, and
I
also
think you can even if you start doing what is it called? Good mornings or something like that? What is this one?
yeah, yeah, good mornings have helped too. Yep.
Yeah, I think if you just start overloading
Yeah,
or making progress a little bit, I think that will also be great one.
I do it along with the athletes too. They do like the good
Mm,
mornings, you just reach down to the floor and then reach up
mm.
like a good like you're just stretching in the morning, and then you're bending pushing that hip forward.
Yeah, like I would say, like adding some type of movements in the beginning and like in the morning. Like
Yeah,
I have to start doing this. Like when you wake up, like do something for 10 minutes. I feel like would be much more beneficial throughout the day because like you start your morning ready to go. You know, like
yeah,
you just activate every muscle. Like imagine I noticed like imagine you just get off the bed, go brush your teeth, wash your face, do your skincare routine, whatever if you have one, put on your clothes and just go home. Like there is literally no movement in my body. I just walk around like this.
mhm,
But but like I notice when I do something in the morning, like just Mentastics event,
yeah.
you know, like I feel more awake and I'm like my body feels more energized, you
I
know?
said the perfect time to introduce Mentastics because you guys been sleeping 8 to 9 hours. Your body is stiff from just being in the same exact spot. So
Yeah.
while you're, doing your daily morning routine, nothing too crazy, you can just throw in some Mentastics, and it's just light and very breathable. So
Yeah, just for blood flow. Just blood flow in that area, even if you have those even small inflammation, like blood flow is able to flush that out, you know?
yeah,
Sometimes it might be just inflammation and if you imagine for wrists, like if you keep your wrist like this and you have injury here and you just keep it like this, like there is a high chance that you will never get rid of that pain
hmm,
because you just keep it there and inflammation just sits there. You have to do some kind of movements, flex your flexors, extend your extenders, extender
yeah,
muscles right here, flexors right here, you know? And like once you start moving this, the blood flow goes there and that inflammation will it might take time, but over the time it will be flushed out.
yeah.
So yeah,
And a lot
you
of
have to
times
make sure there's movement.
you don't need to use painkillers or
Yeah,
whatever prescribed medication, you can just, as long as you get that blood flow going, your body will just automatically fix it as long as you get the blood
yeah.
circulating in that area.
Just you just have to make sure that you don't overdo it. Like some people think they can fix their issue in one day. Like I hurt my forearm on punching bag, and
Mhm.
it was bothering me for weeks. But throughout those weeks, like I was doing these movements, like holding my arm
Yeah.
like this and putting it in a little bit uncomfortable position because like it is supposed to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
in that position if I didn't have injury. So I think that helped me with my recovery.
I
Even
enjoy
though sometimes I might feel a little tweak, like
Mhm.
it's getting better.
I injured this wrist from just punching bag. Also the wall, which is not the smartest, but my claim is I'm building up that bone density. But what I like to do a lot is just I have a dumbbell, hold it down, and then down here, but then you're like throwing it left and
Rotate.
right, and that just rotates the whole wrist, and that just feels amazing. But also Sahan has
So
done,
that
yeah,
might mean that is it on this side or this side?
uh, left my left wrist, usually around this area, the ulna.
Mm. So it might be the extender muscles
Mm.
that go up here. Might be ulnar.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been training forearms recently more too, and it's helped a lot. Also, Sahan's been showing me, and I saw from another guy in the gym
mm,
who's just crazy at calisthenics. He has his wrist down on the ground, the floor like this, and you just put you train up to it, but you put all your weight on it, and there's you can do like jumping push-ups on just your knuckles instead of your palm, and it just builds up your wrist stability. So even like a lot of boxers are saying, once you do that, you'll no longer experience wrist pain. So that's something I'm just gonna get into more as well.
mm. I don't know. There are no questions in the chat.
Yeah,
I think I think we talked a lot about stability and why is pain and what causes pain. I will just go over short. So we have load and capacity. If you go, if you load your body just even a bit over your capacity, you will see that damage immediately. Like, for example, if let's say, let's say one day you ate clean food, get had an 8 hour sleep, no stress, happy. You went to the gym, did your workout, and your like load that day was just right here because you took out that stress. You had good food. So instead of here, you were right here. So like you felt great after that workout. Next day, someone offers you, all right, let's go play basketball.
hmm
Guess what? And you do the wrong move. You go to play basketball. Your load was here, no recover. Boom, your load right here. Immediate injury. You
yeah.
start feeling pain, those swellings. And that's what it is. Injury is just that, like going over the capacity of what you have. You have to make sure you wake your way up there. Like you
And
cannot just jump, jump, skip steps, jump. You have to again progressively overload your muscles and build up that strength.
I would say with that, some of the sports requires more explosive work than what you're usually used to in the gym. So it's also important that after you've built like a good base for your capacity, that's when you can start introducing more like explosive work,
Hmm.
preventing injury. But for that, you need a good base, is what I would have to say.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just for every beginner mm, gym goer, I guess. Just try some stuff. No one's judging you there. Just try some stuff, find your baseline, and just start building from there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You have to experiment on yourself, and you have to experience that experience for you to get that knowledge. Like without experience, like I cannot just sit here and give you, tips on how to improve. You have to experience to find out what works best for your body.
Yeah.
Even for personal training, like everyone has to have different plans because every individual has different anatomy. Everyone requires different movement. Everyone has different range of motion. So that's why you find that out, what's your functional ability of your anatomy, and then you build your program on it.
And there's also ways out there that you can measure all that for yourself, which we could probably talk on another podcast. But I think this podcast coming to the time limit.
Yeah.
So, do you have any last words?
No, I think this was pretty informative. And
Yeah, me too.
about this myth that pain just magically appears out of nowhere
Hmm.
is it's not true, obviously. And I would say people most of the time have no idea what is pain and what is the cause of it. So just by being present for your body will just help you drastically because like what's something you did differently that caused that issue, and you will go back and fix it. You won't repeat that same mistake again.
Yeah.
And like going to a doctor won't be wise. The moment you, like, let's say you just cross your capacity a little bit while doing your pull-ups and you go to a doctor, first advice from the doctor would be that, yeah, you gotta stop doing those pull-ups, you know? But you thinking, but that's what I want to do. Now you have to drop something you want to do just because you don't want to experience that pain.
Hmm.
But there's a way to build that capacity, and you have to just work on it. It just requires time and patience.
Yeah. And remember, if you're disciplined but you're still injured, it's not because you're weak, but more because your system is like imbalanced, and again, that capacity does not match that load.
Mhm.
And recovery didn't match the stress, and pain is rarely it's like a luck variable. There's usually like calculations and things that you're doing throughout your days that add up to, again, that threshold
Yeah,
that you eventually exceeded. And pain is sometimes it's like a good teacher.
yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Today's episodes of Figuring Out Friday, presented to you by Healing Your Way and Mike and Mike. We hope you to see you next episode. Make sure you go follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to, or do you have any questions that you want answers, you can just email it to us or maybe reach out to us on social media platforms. So we'll be more than happy to reach back at you. So thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.
See you guys.